Hello, 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 amazing people out there in social media land. I wanted to jump on because I am at my favorite place in Grand Rapids, Riverside Park, and I thought that I would jump on and talk about some conscious education because I think it's needed. But how has your week been? What have you guys been creating this week? It's been a very interesting week. Really immersed in this work because, as you may or may not know, I lost my aunt this week on Tuesday, and it's not that it wasn't expected, but you know, when people pass in their physical form, it changes the connection. It definitely changes the connection. And with family, when family passes too, there's going to be a whole lot more information that comes up. And so I've really given myself grace this week to just really listen to my own intuition and listen to when I need to rest. I allow myself to rest. When emotions come up, I allow the emotions to come up, and am experiencing all of the emotions, because sometimes, especially with death, like all the emotions come in all at once, all at the same time. So that's kind of what I've been going through this week, and to kind of tell you where I'm at in the process of building my automagic automation machine online. I just got my OG version of my book that I released, and I'm now getting it professionally edited. It's called Awakening the Force Within. If you guys want to check it out, you just go to awakeningtheforcewithin.com. You can get the OG version, and then you're also going to get in that the soft covers also included. I just don't know when that will come out yet, but I got those first edits back this week. So that's going to be something I'm going to go through, and really, again, just allowing myself to feel the feels this week as they come up, still continue this work, and just really tapping into what I can bring to you guys, and what's going to be most beneficial for you guys as well. And so there's something that really caught my attention this week, and it was the word neuroemotional, because as many people ask me what I do, and chances are I have a different answer for you depending on the day when you ask me, like how I coach people, and what I do to walking people through, because it's really not about it's about helping people shift into their creative spirit, and it's about helping people create in the right orientation, in the right structure, because it's just structural, and success and failure isn't personal, it's just structural. But as you start to move in this new orientation of acknowledging that you are the superconscious creator, acknowledging that you are the creative force within, what happens is your unconscious conditioning literally is going to bring up all this stuff. And the reason why it does this, and you were created by grand design, you are on the superconscious hero's journey. That's why I think it's so important to educate people about the hero's journey, where they are on the hero's journey, because sometimes, man, when you wake up and in the fucking dark, it can feel really scary. And that's where a lot of people turn around. So this is kind of where I help guide people through, and it's not about therapy, it's not about fixing yourself, it's not about bettering yourself, it's not about personal development, it's not about any of that shit, because you're not broken. You're not broken. You just have forgotten who you really are, and that forgetting was by grand design, because as you came from a limitless being, because you're a drop in the ocean, baby. Like, you are a drop of the ocean, the stardust ocean. That is you, right? Same stuff, smaller scale, but same stuff. that lives within you. And we don't really have any education that teaches us this, right? We're taught to create in the problem structure. We're taught to focus on the problem. We're taught to survive, right? We're taught to survive. And here's the thing is, as you grow up and as you learn to survive, your unconscious begins to understand and define things as safe and unsafe, and known and unknown, right? And you build these structures in your brain, you build these limitations that help keep you safe. And there are these aspects of you. And so when you start to orientate in the new orientation, when you start to acknowledge as step number one that you are the creative force within, and that what would you love to create, because that's how you start, right? But then you learn how to retrain your emotional body, because right now you have trained your emotional body with the hormones of stress. And your little cell buggers have become addicted. And so that even if you try and change your thoughts, your cells are going to send up a distress signal that is going to alter the way of thinking, that is going to trigger certain thoughts, that is going to give you the emotions that are going to create that little hit that your cells are looking for, the little addicts, right? So this is why, especially if you're in the personal development, like you can take the same action, but if you have different intentions, you're going to get different results. And what I mean by that, if you're coming from the perspective of I'm not it, right? If you're coming from the not it perspective, and you take the action to work on your mindset, right? That's not going to work because you're coming at it in the problem structure, in the orientation, like there's something that you need to fix better, improve. And I know that that's a bold statement, but that's why you see so many people in the personal development circuit for the rest of their life, right? And nothing really changes all that much. And it's just about structure. But when you come at things from acknowledging that you are the superconscious creator, that you are the creative force within, you created it all, baby. You created all your limitations. You created it all. And you can choose to change your orientation and to recreate a new future, right? Your future doesn't have to look anything like your past. But you have to understand the knowledge and the science behind what's going on, because I guarantee if you're disconnected from your feelings, if you've been in the sucky soup feelings for a long time, if you've been on a healing journey for a long time, and you've been in that mental and emotional rumination of emotions that frankly you're just fucking sick of feeling, it's gonna take awareness, practice, and repetition. And this is why I get so pissed at all of these easy fucking promises out there. Because let me just tell you, the superconscious hero's journey is not an easy path. If you have ever been skiing, right, there's like a green path, it's a circle, there's a blue square, that's intermediate, and then you got the black diamond, right? And the black diamond is like difficult. But you get to choose to do it, right? Like nobody's forcing you to do it. And then the double black diamond is like, holy shit, this is the highest form of work that we can do. And it's not in a pursuit to better ourselves. It's not in a pursuit to fix ourselves, to heal ourselves. Because when you come from the not it perspective, your identity will never allow you to be it, because it thinks it has to die in the process. And so through this work, right, we start to teach your unconscious that it is safe to create a life you love. It is safe to create these new emotions. It is safe to create health and vitality. It is safe to create from your true nature and purpose. It is safe. And we do that little by little. So it takes awareness, it takes practice, it takes repetition. And guess what? The price you pay is consistency. The price you're going to pay is consistency. And that gets you in the door, right? That gets you in the door. Because you can work on yourself for the rest of your life and stay trapped in those mental limitations that you have. Or you can choose how to consciously choose and tap into your three most innate superpowers, which is your choice, your focus, and your flow. You have that, right? You have that within you. You're just disconnected from it. And this isn't your fault, and there's nothing wrong with the way that your unconscious created these limitations. It needed to learn how to be human. But we don't have like a conscious education milestone that's like, hey, if you're watching this, if you're here, you've done it, right? You're alive. Good job. All the parts did their job. And now it's just time to upgrade their work orders, right? Because they're just working these parts. When you're really wanting to go for something and you're like, oh, I want to follow my passion, but I want to have this, but I want to do this, but, and you can fill in the blank with any of those. It's the internal conflict that we have when we're going towards our true nature and purpose, when we're going towards what it is that we want to create from true alignment, right? It's those inner conflicts are all just aspects of yourself that you created at some point from love to keep you safe. Does that make sense? And so you don't have to go through 25 years of therapy, right, to get these aspects to work in the direction of the way that you want to go. It doesn't take a lifetime healing journey. You're not fucking broken. There is nothing that needs to heal, right? There is nothing that needs to be fixed. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You are it, baby. You are the it factor. And that's got to be acknowledgement number one. That's got to be acknowledgement number one. Because if you skip that step, then you are putting the power on everything outside of you. And you will live the rest of your life as a reaction from past instructions. And in that structure, you will always be the oldest version of your past self. And if that's okay with you, then just keep scrolling. If that's not okay with you, then we need to connect. Because this takes practice and learning this. And unfortunately, no matter how many times you hear me say it, right, you need to get into a community where you can practically practice. Practice, right? My practical magical principles. So you get to practically magically practice. Because you have to go through the experience. You have to go through the practice of it. And when you change your orientation and when you change the structure that you create in, you now become the youngest version of your future self. So you can either be the oldest version of your past self, which is where you are if you have not gotten this conscious education, because your unconscious conditioning is so strong. So strong. And it takes awareness, practice, and repetition to recondition your conditioning and to rewire those neurological pathways and to harness your heart energy. It takes practice and it takes repetition. Just as many times as you repeated the stories of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not perfect, I'm not capable. There's like 3 or 4 more. But the way of the human is we orientate and start creating from those not it perspectives on this journey so we can learn how to be human, how to stay alive. But life is a game, babe. Life is a game. And it's the double black diamond, right? This work is the highest form of work that you can learn how to do. And if you've ever looked at the law of attraction or manifestation, anything like that, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And it's just structure. It's just orientation. Because you are it. You are it. And the whole be it to see it, if you've ever heard that expression, man, did that expression used to piss me off because I didn't get it. I was like, how am I supposed to be it? Right? If I want to be a millionaire, how am I supposed to be it? Like, I don't understand what they're talking about. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. And I went back and forth with this for so long. And then doing this neuro-emotional work that I teach in my programs and in my workshops is that it's in the emotion. And emotion equals motion, and it's in the emotion. It's not in the mindset, right? It's not in the mindset, because here's the truth is that no matter what you want to create in your life, and so many people are like, oh, I want to, I want to change the world, or, I want this really super successful business, or I want this brand new car. And the thing is that as humans, we don't learn how to make very effective choices. Like, making effective choices is definitely something that we need to learn, because when we create these things, it's not really the things that we want, it's the feelings. It's the feelings that we think that those things are going to give us. And so most people right now are disconnected from their feelings because they've been in survival mode for so long, and they start to believe that they are their feelings. They start to diagnose their feelings, and instead of choosing to consciously learn how to choose, right? We're calling these things diagnoses. We're trying to battle them, fight them, get rid of them. We've got so many pills out there we can take for all of these diagnoses and all of these labels that we have created. And the truth is that all of these things are just symptoms from you not living your true nature and purpose. And the dis-ease that comes from that when you're not aligned to your true self. And this may sound woo-woo to a lot of people, but the thing that I love and why I'm just jumping into this conscious education and full immersion in teaching and coaching is because this is what science is starting to prove and has proved, that we are the creative force within. That we are the creative force within. And what happens when we consciously choose, when we put our focus, which is our intention and our attention, and again, these are skills, right? These are skills. These are superpowers that you have, but they take practice. And it's almost impossible to learn how to use these on your own because your unconscious conditioning is so strong. Don't try and go it alone, right? Don't try and go it alone. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people do, is they try and go it alone. And the truth is that you're going to hit those moments where you're going to want to give up. You're going to hit those moments where you're going to question everything that you're doing, right? You're going to hit those moments. And that's part of the process. But with the work that I do, you can easily recognize when those come up, how to get in touch with your superconscious information, your superconscious intuition, how to take action from that higher, more connected and aligned place that's from your true nature and purpose. And we can recode and rewire those neurological pathways, and we can give all aspects new information so that they can release the emotional trigger, the emotional charge from the past, keep the wisdom, and so that all parts can work in the way of you creating from the superconscious creator that you are in the creative structure. Does that make sense? So that's why this work is so freaking powerful. That's why this work is so powerful, because when you learn to create in the right structure, baby, you are enough. You are it. What do you want to create? Right? What do you want to create? And in my program, it's basically a 7-step process that you're going to continuously go back to, because it's not about never losing your focus. It's not about that. It's about how quickly you can regain your focus and take an aligned action in the way of what you're trying to create. So when I talk about the problem orientation, you can choose, you can keep choosing to be on a healing journey that who the hell knows when you're healed, right? Do you get some sort of sign? Do you get a signal like, okay, now you're healed? Healed from what? Right? Your past doesn't exist anymore, baby. And you create your future from the same place that you recreate your past. So this is absolutely doable for you. You are it. You are capable. You are enough. You are worthy, right? It just takes awareness, practice, and repetition. And in the problem structure, you can keep choosing to heal, which there will always need to be something. You will always create something then that needs to heal. Or you can choose to be the primary creator in your life, and you can choose to ask yourself and answer, what would I love to create? And so the first foundational steps in my program is to remember who you are, realign, right? Realign, create in the right structure. And then number 3 is re-energize. And that's where I teach you how to connect to your energy, baby, and how to use this energy to light your path, to light your fire, right? Because so many people feel like they've lost their spark, right? But when you're in the I'm broken and you learn this conscious education and you start to realign, you're going to actually transform all of the relationships in your life, because you are going to realize that all parts were created with the intention of love. And even though, right, you may not like procrastination, self-doubt, the victim, the controller, the protector, the inner child, the abuser, the abused, whatever those parts are, you may think that you're in a battle against them or a fight against them, but the truth is they're running on orders that they designed to keep you safe. And they are also your most loyal fans, because they have done such a good job of keeping you safe. In all parts, when you learn how to communicate with them, when you learn how to listen, when you learn how to connect your highest form of energy, which is exactly what I teach you, when you learn that, you're going to be able to learn how to upgrade these instructions, because those parts, they're dying for a promotion, right? They're dying for a promotion. They would love a promotion. They would love a promotion. But this is why it's so crucial to work with somebody that knows how to speak to these aspects, that can teach you how to give these aspects more information, so that little by little, right, you can dissolve those mounds of resistance that come up, that are going to come up on your path to creating a life you love. And you can easily dissolve those, right? You can easily dissolve those. And it's all about tapping into your superconscious. And so, as you can tell, I'm pretty fucking passionate about this work, because this work is life-changing, and it's my goal and my desire, or a true choice, that I help facilitate getting this education into our education systems, so that we can collectively raise our level of consciousness. Because the truth is that most people don't even realize that there's more than one level of consciousness. And there's actually three. There's three levels of consciousness. You've got your self-conscious, which is your ego. You've got your unconscious, which is your automatic or subconscious. You'll hear that. And you've got your superconscious, which is your intuition, information, and insight. And so when you start to learn how to tap into your superconscious, how to trust what you're getting, right? So that you can start taking action in a way that's in alignment with your true nature and purpose. Because you came here to create. That is your purpose. You are a fucking creator. You came here to create. What would you love to create? And what I find is that what do you want and what would you love to create is a very scary question for a lot of people, and most people don't know. And they get stuck in the don't know how to figure that out. And that's why it's super, super important to get with a guide that's going to help you, because when you're in the I don't know how, you're stuck in your self-conscious. And so going through my own superconscious hero's journey and learning these things, and starting off at the beginning of the bottom of the mountain going, holy shit, right? All of the things that I've learned, all of the mentors that I've been working with, the self-made billionaires that are truly living a life that they love, but impacting the world in such a fucking beautiful way that's gonna help everybody. Isn't that kind of the life that we want, right? And what most people don't realize is through their own transformation. First off, transformation energy is fucking contagious. And heart energy, which I also is love energy, right? This is when you're tapping into your love, right? You're tapping into your love. And the three levels of your emotional heart as well, which is your physical heart, your emotional heart, and your spiritual heart. Because when you experience gratitude and you're in your heart space and you're in your heart energy, all this stuff, all this magical stuff starts to happen in your body biologically. And your energy starts to put your physical body in the way of optimal life. And your energy also starts to expand, right? And we are light energy. We are light energy and information. When we're walking in our true energy, when we are walking in our true essence, it has a exponential impact on those around us. And when you have your light on, when you turn on your light, people can't help but be drawn to you. They can't help it. And it's not in a way to take from you, because you are the creator, right? You are the creator. You get to choose. You get to choose. And you can easily walk away or not even attract people that are or have a negative intention, because you are actually vibrating now at a new frequency. And I always loved this about energy, is that like energy attracts like energy. How sexy is that? So the neuro-emotional part of this is getting your body to experience more emotions that you would just love to create. That you would just love to create, because there's some sexy, saucy, passionate, inspiring, motivational emotions out there, right? There's some good, juicy stuff. And it's not that those lower vibrational emotions don't serve us. We're just not supposed to get stuck in them. And chances are you've just been living out the same emotional cycle that you created when you were a child. It's the way our bodies work. And so a lot of people right now are really disconnected from those higher vibrational emotions. They're disconnected from their heart. They're disconnected from their true essence. That's what's causing all these symptoms. That's why we fucking label everything as what's wrong with us, what we're trying to fix, what we're trying to solve, what we're trying to heal, how something is going to make our life better, right? And then once we get that thing, once we have it, once we are it, then and only then will we allow ourselves to enjoy it. And this is the funny thing about the way that we're working right now. And because the truth is that if you don't allow yourself to experience the emotion now, you're not going to allow yourself to experience the emotion then. And this is where it can start to get a little uncomfortable as you start to connect to your true self, as you start to connect to these new emotions and this new structure, because it's a whole new experience, and your body is used to feeling certain emotions. So it's not that the superconscious hero's journey is without discomfort, because again, you chose to be here, right? You chose to be here. You chose it. And it's an adventure, and it's supposed to be fun. And if you're listening to this information, chances are your true self, your highest self, brought you here because it's time for your conscious education upgrade. And is it going to cost money? Absolutely. Is it going to cost time? Absolutely. Is it going to cost effort? Absolutely. Is it an overnight fix? No. It's a whole new way of being. Because the deepest part of this work, and why it's the most spiritual, deepest work that you can do, is because now, once you learn this, once you start reconditioning your conditioning, once you start retraining your emotional body and creating new neurological pathways, which, by the way, when you start this work, you're not going to notice changes right away. So just letting you know, because it's like the seed that's now aligning with the abundant forest. And as the seed, right, pops open, what happens, right? Roots begin to grow. But on the ground level, you don't see anything happening. But that doesn't mean that things aren't shifting. That doesn't mean that things aren't changing. That doesn't mean that you're not restructuring. So that's why, again, it's so important to get into a community where you can practically, magically practice this and repeat it, because you're building roots, right? You're building these new roots in an abundant forest, and that takes, right? Creating that takes movement. It takes time. In this dimension, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So by no means is this work an easy path. But this is the path that you came here for. It really is. It really is. So if you've been on a never-ending healing journey, if you're sick of the mental rumination and the constant inner conflict of, I want to do this, but I want to have this, but I want to create this, but, and you're just caught in that rumination and you're just going back and forth, you're just creating in the problem structure. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? You're not broken. It's just what you've learned. It's just what you've learned, and it's what we've learned as human beings up to this point, and how to create. So this is a whole new way of creating. It's a whole new way of creating, and it gets you into taking aligned action towards what it is you want to create, the life that you love. It gets you walking towards health and vitality. It gets you walking towards your true nature and purpose, and being the primary creator in your life, and being the youngest version of your future self. It gets you creating from your future self, because the other thing is I'm not going to give you any fucking advice. And that pisses a lot of people off, because we want advice. Our self-conscious wants to know how. And if you're stuck in the how, this is another sign to connect with me, because it's almost impossible to get out of the how mindset without learning some of this conscious education and how to practically apply it in your life. Because the need to know how, it's very strong. And like I said, your unconscious conditioning is strong, but your heart is stronger. And you just haven't learned how to tap into it yet. You just haven't learned how to this new structure takes place, right? You just haven't learned how to rewire those neurological pathways that you've been living out your entire life. And so if you want to consciously choose, it's like that moment in the Matrix, right? Where Morpheus is like, you get to take the red pill or the blue pill, right? And the blue pill is going back to sleep unconsciously, right? And being the oldest version of your past self the rest of your life, living in a reaction and always giving your power away. Or do you get to acknowledge that you're the creative force within, learn how to awaken it, learn how to connect with it, learn how to create with it, right? Because you are it. And, that's the red pill. So you get to choose. You get to choose. And this is your adventure. This is your adventure. For me, I tried to choose to go back to sleep and my signs just kept getting bigger and bigger. So I just trust now. And what I started using is stepping stones that I talk more about in my program, because when you are disconnected from your feelings, when you're stuck in the how, and you're caught in that, it can be very difficult to take an action. And not only starting off in the right orientation of you are acknowledging that you're the creative force within, what would you like to create? I wanted to create self-love, trust, and letting go. And so those were my 3 stepping stones that I used when I woke up in the dark and I completely changed my life and had no idea what I was going to do. And that was one of the scariest times in my life. And it was also when I experienced the most anxiety. It was also when I experienced the deepest levels of love and connection. And it was also when I experienced like an abyss of unknown, and that moment where you have to take a step, right? Where you have to take a step into that darkness and trust. And trust, right? And I'm going to teach you how to learn how to trust yourself. Because the other thing is too, is in this rumination where we've got all these aspects working against ourselves, right? We break our commitments all the time. And these parts are really strong, right? These parts can be really strong. And so it's like, you can be doing something, really excited about something, then all of a sudden like self-doubt comes in and you're like, oh no. And you start thinking these thoughts of, am I really good enough? Like, can I really do this? How am I going to make any money at it? Everybody else seems to be better than me. Like all of those things. And that's going to keep you from taking action. Those things are going to keep you from taking action if they're continued to run wild, right? That's what it was designed to do, to keep you safe. And so the truth is that the more time you spend up here, the less time you spend here and being in the moment. Because if you don't value the moment, you're not going to value the moment then, right? If you don't value the moment now, you're not going to value the moment then. And so it's really important when you're on this super conscious hero's journey to learn how to get into the moment and to learn when we're rejecting the present moment, because there will always be at times a fluctuation. And so there's a really cool little guide that I give you that you can look at in my class that gives you questions to see how much you're rejecting the present moment. And the present moment is where all the opportunity is. But your unconscious conditioning is designed to keep you occupied. You designed it to keep you occupied so you could create more of what you know, more of what you've already experienced, because your unconscious knows that it can survive that. And even if it's causing parts of you pain, which chances are it's causing parts of you pain because you're not in true alignment with yourself, even though it's causing you and costing you your purpose, it's costing you that life that you love, that you would just love to create. It's costing you your passion. It's costing you your energy. Even though it's doing that, those unconscious parts are in control. And unchecked and unupgraded, those unconscious parts are going to continue to rob the moments of your life away. And you may wake up one day with a broken spirit and a broken body. And I say broken, you can't break your spirit, but you can sure spend the rest of your life ignoring it. And I know for me, I just couldn't do it. That became the most painful thing. And so realigning in this new orientation and realigning from my creative force and taking actions even in hard times, right? Even through family loss this week, taking action in the way of the direction of creating a life I love, because also when you recognize that you are the creative force within, you are connected to everything. You are connected to everything. And you can learn how to be it now, because you are. You are. And all these symptoms and all these diagnoses and all of these problems that we think that we have, they're just symptoms from us not being aligned in our true nature and purpose. And let me just tell you that you may be the first one in your family, you may be the first one to recognize this and to really go for it. And if you're the first one in your family, congratulations. Because that is the double black diamond path, and you chose it. Right? And you chose it. And it can feel like a blessing and a curse. It can feel like a blessing and a curse. But like I said, I wanted to give you some context into this, but I also just wanted to remind you too that this work isn't heavy. This work isn't heavy. This work can be effortless. And it's profoundly changing hundreds and thousands of people's lives. And I want to be part of that ripple effect. And if you don't know my story, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Dustin, and I am a transformational coach that teaches how to rewire and recondition your neurological, emotional self. And when I started on my superconscious hero's journey, and I was going to my friend's 20th death day anniversary, and Ryan Christoph was a huge part of my heart, and I almost wasn't going to go to this party that his cousin was throwing for him, but I decided and made the decision and took the action, even though I was scared, even though I was nervous, even though I was anxious, even though I didn't feel good enough. I showed up, and I got to meet Ryan's heart recipient, Kevin, and I got to feel Ryan's heartbeat. And Ryan passed me a message, and I did not understand it. I did not. It's not that I didn't understand it, actually. It's that it was so big that I had no idea how. Absolutely no idea how. And what he passed to me in his heartbeat, and this is what got me into the science of helping and harnessing your heart energy and connecting to it, because that message that I got from Ryan's heartbeat was an image of a globe and all of these people standing all over the world. And there were these people that were kneeled down, that were a little bit shorter than the crowd because they were kneeled down. And each of them began to stand up. And as they stood up, they were taller than the rest of the crowd. And their lights got brighter and brighter. And what they did is they reached out to the other beings that were now kneeling and standing up. And they reached out and they connected in light. And as these beings grew brighter and brighter, all of the rest of the people, everything else began to grow brighter and brighter. And I truly believe that Ryan passed me this message because I was supposed to be a part of this turning on the lights, right? I was supposed to be a part of igniting this spark. I was supposed to be a part of fanning these flames. But in order to do that, right, I had to acknowledge that I am the light within. I had to acknowledge that because I knew that I was one of those people that was connecting other people in light. But at the time, you guys, I had just quit my corporate job. I was out of money. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was having extreme anxiety. I was trying to change my life, and everything seemed so tough. I'd quit smoking, quit drinking, all of these things. Like, I changed everything. And when I got this message from Ryan, I started connecting immediately to my heart. And any time that I needed to create a pause, any time that I needed to create an interrupt up here, I put my hand over my heart, and I thought of Ryan, and I immediately went to gratitude. I was so grateful to Ryan. I was so grateful to Ryan's cousin for throwing that party. I was so grateful to Ryan's heart recipient for letting me feel Ryan's heartbeat again after 20 years. I was so grateful that I got to know somebody like Ryan that had such an impact 20 years later on people's lives, that he still resonated this amazing love and light, and it impacted everybody. I was so grateful for that. And as I started to go to this place, what I didn't realize was happening is that I was now connected into a new energy of my true self, and things started to transform. They started to transform, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But what I wish I would have known and why I'm so passionate about bringing this to you is there is an easier way. This is a great, amazing practice, but this was all I did. There is an easier way and different tools that you can use that will help you condition that conditioning in a faster, effortless way. Than how I did it. And it's understanding structure. It's really understanding structure. And when you join my program, again, because you're now changing your orientation, you're changing that seed alignment to the abundant forest now. Things are happening on the inside of that seed. Things are happening in the roots of that seed. Things are happening in the sprout of that seed. And there's stages. This work might take a little bit to land. But every time that you show up for it and dive and go all into the practical, magical practice of this, you are now going to consciously be able to choose your future. And your future, baby, has no bearing on what your past looks like. You get to choose. And I'm going to show you the menu that you can choose from. I'm going to show you a menu that you can emotionally choose from, because it's the most magical menu in the whole world. And you get to choose. And you're here for it. You're here for it. So if that resonated with you, it's definitely time to connect. Definitely time to connect. And I can help you land in one of a few different communities based on the best way that you like to learn, based on how you like to practice. We've got options, baby. We've got options, we've got opportunity, but you got to take the aligned action step. You got to comment, you got to share, you got to connect, right? And then you got to show up, because magical manifesting doesn't happen just by staying up here, right? You have to take aligned action. You have to take aligned action, but you have to take aligned action in the right structure with the right intention. And that's why we're going to focus on teaching you how to consciously choose, what are true choices, how to realign, how to re-energize, teaching you to focus and understanding your intention and your attention, because those are key. What you focus on, you actually create more of. And chances are, if you don't like your life right now, you have you created all of it. And what are you focusing on, right? Because your focus creates your reality, but it's a practice. And so I'm going to teach you how to master your focus. and then step into your flow, which is your true nature and purpose, because you were put here to create. And if you're somebody who wants to change the world, if you're somebody that wants to impact and serve the world in a way, and you want to leave a legacy, but you have just been stuck in the sucky soup or stuck in the rumination and you just don't know why, then it's definitely time that we had a conversation, because this is the next step, right? This is the doorway that is going to open up a new future for you. And if that sounds like something you want to create, if it sounds like you want to create a life you love, if you want to create health and vitality, if you want to create from a place of your true nature and purpose, and you want to own your true essence of being the primary creator in your life, then I'm definitely your coach, and I can't wait to talk to you. So as always, you guys, anybody that jumped on, thank you so much. Any comments, any of the love, I love you guys. I can't wait to see how this continues to unfold. And remember, your unconscious conditioning is strong, but your heart is stronger.